Welcome to the Week 9 stand-up, November the 2nd. This is a milestone review week for us. We were also hoping to get the Rainbow folks out, but they weren't able to show up because some things came up at their studio. So it's basically a dry run for kind of the presentation, which hopefully we'll be able to give them either next milestone review or the milestone review after that. But yeah, we had a lot of good progress towards the build over these past couple of days. We got, I think, about like 80% of the stuff we wanted to get in and done. I have to give a special shout out to Devin, who was up with me until 2:30 in the morning today, getting all the last stuff fixed and working. I definitely couldn't have done it if you weren't there. So that was good. So props for that. So what we'll do in our stand-up, as usual, is we'll say who we are, what our role is, what we worked on since we last met, what we're going to be working on today, and any potential roadblocks we're going to encounter. So why don't you start us off?
All right. Devon Garrett Programmer. This past week has just been kind of getting all of the parts assembled for the game, such as getting the mind reading animations in, getting a vignette effect for when you're in shadows, and just kind of getting the ranch area and cutscene enabled. This next week and for the next bit, I'm going to be working on a disguise system, so just getting a new gameplay mechanic implemented, and nothing's really standing in my way right now.
My name is Kylie Farrell. I'm a storyboard artist. This past week I was implementing the cutscene, giving it to Devin so he could put it into the build for this milestone. I was working on sounds, but it seems like I have to work more on like setting it up in After Effects before I do that, and kind of do like multiple things at once along with sound, so I plan on doing that in the future. And yeah, and just things in my way after that.
Howdy. I'm Jessica. I'm an art intern.
Hello.
Hello. I've been working on particle effects like the past couple weeks, but actually getting them into engine this time. I made the light trail and the steam effect, and we implemented the head motion. Not sure what exactly to call it, but you all know what it is. So
No, not really.
The mind reading effect around the soldiers' heads?
Yeah.
Thought projection.
Yeah, there we go. This week I'm probably going to keep working on more environment building effects, like a tumbleweed, water, liquid coolant coming out, that sort of thing. Not much is in my way, just tired.
My name is Kalana. I'm one of the level designers. What I worked on this past week was getting the
Integration.
that and making sure everything was ready. And what we work on next is any further level designs that we're going to be doing to the ramp zone.
Okay.
I'm Kylie. I'm the art lead. This last week I worked on finishing up texturing the Jeep, which I think there's a few things I need to kind of fine tune on that. And then I also kind of worked on the UI elements. So for the main menu, I created buttons to add in front of our picture that we already had set up. And then I also created some UI for the in-game editor. I know there's a few more things I'd like to work on via the UI. And then also this week I want to work on creating just a general screen that tells you the controls that are needed in the game. So that'll be my task, along with I've also been completing research on various items for the air base and making sure they're era accurate, because it's extremely difficult to find pictures that they've taken of the military base, especially the interior of it at that time. So other than just the lack of good pictures, that's nothing really standing in my way.
Yeah, they didn't want the commies to get those pictures.
No, of course not.
Hi, Garrett. Motion capture and animation implementation. This past week, worked with Devin on getting the mind reading animation to link up with how it looks. This coming week, probably gonna work on the soldier rifle animations and other stuff. And the only thing standing my way is really acclimating to my new sleep schedule.
Oh, I'm Jeff, the other art intern. Now, I've been finishing up the large hangar interior spaces, getting all the alignment issues fixed, and getting some light fixtures in there so it's not dark like you know, how it usually is in people's rooms. And the only problems I've been running into is suffering in the kitchen one plate at a time. It's
Hell's Kitchen.
that'd be too soft of a word.
Ah, I see.
Right.
Hey, hello, my name's Travis. I'm level designer. This week I've been mostly finishing up like the crash site for the second version of it, updating it with new things to add into it. I also rebaked the lighting so that it could be placed into the build that we showed off today. Next week I'm probably gonna continue polishing up the crash site where it needs to be, and maybe moving on to a new part of the level if possible. And nothing's really standing in my way.
Don Shepis, I'm the team lead. I worked on coordinating everybody and getting everything together, trying to keep our merging process from getting too screwy. We did run into a couple of issues where, like, after Devin merged in the was it, I think cuts, no, it wasn't cutscene. It was after you had your commit on the terrain branch. At some point between that and your next commit, terrain test just like disappeared. Like everything inside it. It looks like it was like a weird merge conflict that it didn't actually choose whether to use the old version or the new version. And I spent probably 45 minutes manually going through in a Notepad++, editing the text version of the scene, trying to get everything that was from develop to be the one that I was using. I think I was almost there, but then I looked up and it was 45 minutes of me trying to figure out how to edit a scene file in text to actually get it to do everything that I was supposed to do. And I got it like 80% of the way there, which I was flabbergasted that I could, because I've never opened up a scene file in a text editor before. But I think, yeah, it was GitKraken just left in when it, because if you look at the diffs in GitKraken, it slots in like 3 arrow signs pointing in direction, then it says develop, and then it's got the difference code, and then below it it'll have the head. But I'm not sure. I think there was a couple of bits where it was junk code or just junk characters that had been thrown in because that process hadn't gone well, that I just didn't know it was junk code. But yeah, so ultimately just reverted, and you were able to get from a different branch terrain test back working in there. Spent a lot of time trying to get the cutscene to play well with with Travis's version of the scene, but that was you ultimately ended up fixing that as well. So again, without this guy, we wouldn't have a build.
Hooray!
Yeah, I also created our presentation for this build review. Wasn't a whole lot of work, but I was trying to figure out the best way to like keep it short and sweet without having a whole lot of like, here's 5 minutes on what we used to have. Oh, and I also found the audio music that we threw in behind the cutscene, just so that way there's some audio to pair with it. It incidentally actually works decently well.
Yeah.
That spike crash sound that happens, it happens at like 102, and that's the end of the song. And because I downloaded the looping version from a free song site, and it doesn't really loop, but that crash, because it's like, I think the cutscene is 114 long?
116.
116. And that song is 102. And it just so happens that big spike at the end, when I think that's a drum maybe, happens, it's exactly when the explosion appears. So, but yeah, got that in. I'm also the reason that, well, I'm half the reason that everybody has the tinfoil hats on. We were using that as kind of it was a bit of a gimmick for the build review to make us stand out a little bit extra, and also it had the added benefit of, if you were looking around and saw everybody who put the tinfoil hats on, you would know who on the team, who was on the team if you had never met anybody. The other half, we have to thank Garrett for actually going and buying like 60 feet of tinfoil. Which, how much did we use?
45.
So actually almost spot on. And I'm taking one home because I'm out of tinfoil. It reminded me to buy you a drink later.
Nice.
And Marcos, you can scooch on over since you got here just in time. Marcos has the day job on production studio days of running his project, but he's also an art technician with us.
Hello. This week I had been working on retexturing the house and the shed because I lost the substance files, so I had to do that from the ground up, sadly. Then I had to fix my fuck up with the. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to curse in these videos. I had to fix my mess up with the military truck because there was a big issue that I did not foresee in retexturing it, but I was able to fix it and got textured in time for the build review.
Have we been not cursing in these stand-ups?
I don't think so.
I was told at one point we're not supposed to curse in the stand-ups.
Did I say that?
I don't know.
That sounds like a Lynn
Just
thing.
keep it nice, clean,
yeah,
and
Well,
PG-13.
yeah, we've gone from PG to PG-13.
Yeah, you
Thank
fudger.
There you
Have I not been cursing unknowingly during all
Nobody
go.
has.
Really?
You've
Yeah,
been pretty
I don't
good
think so.
Christian children.
Man,
Then I
that's,
came in and messed it up.
Nothing angry enough to.
I guess not. Reina is continuing work on the the horse and the. So I've forgotten the.
It's
is
a,
it-
it's a horse and a
she's
dog.
working on a dog, but
Yeah.
is it a goat ranch or a sheep ranch at Brazen? Ranch?
I think we determined that it was a sheep ranch.
Sheep. Okay, I think I
We
said
just put
goats.
horse.
But then we like
Well, 'cause you
yeah,
have-
then we were like screw it, just put a horse there.
Well, because the guy has a horse to go around the ranch.
And
Someone's
secure the
gonna
sheep.
get sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no animals on it except for the dog and sheep. Well, a dog and a horse.
Yeah, because he's at like a little way station, not at like the main ranch, and they would be out in the fields. Carissa had made a bunch of progress on crafting, so we're gonna have to look through that. And I think that's everybody.
Yeah, I believe so.
Sounds right. Everyone available.
Everyone who matters.
So yeah. Oh, Daryl is. I think he said it was unwrapping.
Yeah,
the-
unwrapping his plane.
Yeah, so he's putting what time he can into that. That's what I forgot. I was going to put Daryl's plane in one of the pictures in the presentation. But anyway, that's pretty much it. We're going to be doing our sprint planning a little bit later today. We're also going to be, the UAT Streaming Club is going to be streaming us working. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the stand-up. It was a long one.